Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Eat, Smoke, Drink. Today I am going to review something quite special. I say that all the time, but I guess most whiskies that I review I find to be quite special. There you go. This is the Littlemill. It's actually the first Littlemill that I have reviewed on this channel. So this is the Littlemill by Machphail. It was distilled in 1991, bottled in 2015, so it makes it 24 years old. A little background on Littlemill. Littlemill has gotten a bit of a cult following lately because it's a closed distillery. But I think that some closed distilleries get that kind of hype and some don't as much. But this one definitely deserves that hype. It is a bloody awesome distillery. Very unique, very different to the current styles. Littlemill is a lowland whiskey. For one, there's not that many distilleries in lowlands, right? So that in itself makes it quite interesting. Also, Littlemill is the oldest distillery on record in Scotland. So they've had a very colourful story from start to finish. They've closed multiple times through bankruptcy, war, depressions, and finally closing in 1994 for the final time. So this was distilled just a few years before they actually fully closed. So anyway, let's get nosing, let's get tasting. I'm going to use the Elixir 1920s blender's glass with this. I'm not going to add water. It's just going to be pure experience and pure reviewing. Alright, let's get tasting. Oh, the nose is so delicate. Straight away, if you're going to get a Littlemill, and I've tried a few Littlemills, this is the first one I've reviewed, but I've had a couple of Littlemills before. They are somewhat quite delicate compared to the other styles that are out there, especially modern expressions. So from the get-go, I'm getting a sickly sweet honey, like just a liquid honey coming out of a bottle. Very floral, jasmine flowers, a little bit of pine resin, just a hint of pine resin, a little bit of fresh cut grass, and on the back it says that there is kiwi fruit in there. I definitely agree with the kiwi fruit. I'm getting lemon peel, strawberry jam, I take that back, I'm getting candied orange, more so than lemon peel. It's still a little citrusy. The lemon peel is still there, but a lot of candied orange. But the honey, slightly leathery as well. I'm also getting a slight sootiness to it, but not too much. Just very, very faint soot. This glass really does focus the flavor a lot, but you do have to take your time with it because to begin with it can be a little harsh, but once you let it breathe, this is one of the best glass I've got that I've ever experienced for nosing purposes, right? Nosing. It's also got a little bit of a chalkiness, floweriness to the nose, but floral, fruity, honey, leather, and a very faint impression of a bourbon cask there. Sickly coconut, vanilla. Now, 45.5%, not the strongest whiskey of all, but I think it does pack a fun punch. It's got a little bit of fire to it. Not too much, a little bit of fire, which is quite pleasant. It's got a disconnect with the nose and the palate. It's got a bit of savouriness on the palate, but on the nose it's very fruity and very sweet and honey-like. But on the palate, it's got a savouriness to it. It's got a resiny, herbal taste on the palate. Definitely citrus comes through, lemon juice, like a faint taste of lemon juice. Herbal note, I'm getting a bit of licorice. Very light in tannin. And that smoke does come through. There is a bit of smoke in this whiskey. Not heavy, but definitely a distinct detectable smoke in this whiskey. But yes, it is quite sour, it is quite citrusy, not sweet on the palate. You get a hint of that honey that you're gonna nose, but not really that overpowering. It is leathery, slightly creamy. But very unusual style. And I guess, you know, it's not something that is pumped out anymore. And so, yeah, I mean, when you get closed distilleries, the style dies with the distillery. You know, no one really replicates it anymore. It's not like they sell the stills as a general proposition. It's not like they sell the stills or, you know, or anything like that to another distillery to use. It's gone. It's done. And so the style is extremely different. It's not something that you would taste in normal modern expressions. Very pleasant on the taste. It is actually quite a powerful whiskey. Surprisingly, the nose is so delicate, but when you have it by itself, it is very complex. It is quite an interesting whiskey. But yeah, it's definitely something that I would recommend you trying. Whether it's this bottling or another bottling, I would definitely get you to try that. Sorry, there was a spider on the table. Yeah. Cigar pairings. Look, most Littlemill are generally single barrels or just a few barrel runs that goes into one bottle. So I would say, personally, have the whiskey first before pairing it with a cigar, just so you can really taste what it's like. But with something like this, for this particular bottle, I would have quite a delicate cigar. Maybe a mild Cuban, a creamy Cuban, maybe a Bolivar, something like that would be nice. I don't think that you'd want a peppery non-Cuban with it, something that'll be too robust with it. It'll just drown this in cigar flavor, right? So, you know, it's meant to be appreciated. It's not something that I would sit on and just finish a whole bottle. It is definitely something that I would sit on one sip at a time and just really think about it, because of the cost, because of the rarity, because of the finite nature of it. And that's really what it comes down to. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed this review of the Gordon Machphail Rare Old Littlemill 1991 24-year-old. And until next time, make sure you eat, smoke, drink. If you have tried this particular Littlemill or another Littlemill, let me know your thoughts. I'd love to know your thoughts if you like a Littlemill. Cheers.